Hello guys, this is AdiQ, and in this video I want to talk about Team Spirit versus Team Empire, the last game, the series for the TI qualifier in the Europe East region.
If you like this type of content, go to gamersclass.com. For just $9.99 a month, watch masterclasses with pro players, join exclusive live sessions, and get 24/7 access to coaches and other high MMR players. Get full control of your ranked games and start owning with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
So Team Spirit won this game, and I just want to go through the game a little bit. So first they picked X and Lina, both cores. I mean, Lina was supposed to be a position 4, but since Team Empire picked an Invoker, they were like, okay, Lina's a decent matchup versus Invoker. Most of the time is actually favorable for Lina to win the lane, and that's why they were able to do this. They also picked an X first phase. X is obviously a really nice hero right now in the meta. You can't really lose the lane with it that well. I mean, you can always jungle with the hero, and it's actually really nice, especially with the Manta, since you can just push 2 waves in every single time that you want. So it's really nice. Space Maker, super tanky hero, pierces BKB, is just awesome hero in this meta. Afterwards they'll take a long time to pick here. So they picked a Lion. I guess they just wanted more disable, but mostly they wanted a nuke. I mean, another nuke with Lina, or with X, since they want to still keep their draft open, right? This guy can be position 5, he can be a position 4 Lion. Lina can be mid and position 4, even position 5, but obviously not that great. But it's still, their draft is open. They can still have 2 cores here, so that's why they sort of picked the Lion right here. So they have two highly nukes. I mean, high damage heroes, 2 high damage heroes in Lina and Lion, especially when they have real ultimates. So they can set up on side lanes with X quite easily. They then went ahead and picked Enchantress on Team Empire. I guess they just wanted this hero since it doesn't really care that much about Lina plus X, simply because you can just take like a Centaur or whatever, Helper, Smasher, some hero, some creep in the jungle, and they won't really be able to deal with it that well. So they have to spend a lot of resources on buying sentries and blocking camps, wards and blocking camps for Enchantress. And you can also heal your position 1 carry with Enchantress against their high magical damage. Team Spirit then picked Dark Willow. So in this position, they knew that Lina was going to be mid. There is no other way, no other explanation for this draft. They obviously won't go Dark Willow core, or Lion core, so it's a Lina mid. They end up like insta picking Spectre, which I think is a mistake, sort of. I mean, yeah, Spectre is quite nice here. You can tank a lot with it. It's alright, but the main issue that I have with this pick, the Spectre, is the X matchup. Like, you're not doing anything to X. Yeah, you might survive. However, I felt like they should have picked something to punish the X, or at least to be decent, versus these heroes. Because if you're picking something like a Spectre in this game, you won't really have any space. Look at the enemy's team. They have low cooldowns. The Lion has 2 disables, super low cooldowns. Lina mid can put a pace on you. You can just buy Boots of Travel and run at you. You'll Scepter, it doesn't really care. Spectre needs some time to come online. He won't be able to contest X. So X is going to run around the map with a blink super early and stuff like that, or even go for Manta super early. Either way, it's not going to be great for him. He won't really have any space with these heroes. Enchantress doesn't provide that much space. Enchantress is just a lane dominator. But against these 2 heroes, it's just sort of a lane equalizer. You're not even dominating anything. So it's just going to be like, alright, Spectre's going to do... Even if Spectre does okay in this game, look at how many disables they have. They have a call, they have Lina stun, they have 2 Lion stuns, they have like Root, stun, fear. Spectre doesn't buy a BKB. So that's why I don't really like the pick right here. You're not punishing the X, you're not buying a BKB on Spectre. You can't really kill any of them. Especially Dark Willow, since you can just go like W, Shadow Realm and stuff. So I don't think this Spectre is a pretty good pick. I mean, obviously it's decent in a certain way. It's because they don't really have a tank right now, and they also have a lot of damage on the enemy team. So they wanted something like a tankier hero. They could have went for something like a lifestealer, they actually ban lifestealer, or even like a Monkey King. Even though it doesn't seem that much better, it's actually a lot better against X. And against Lion Dark Willow, if you have like enchanted, I mean, if you have like the stacks on you and you get a Q, you can still do a lot of damage to them. And you can also buy a BKB SNY and defuse a blade and go fight permanently. Spectre doesn't do that. So they picked a Kunkka. I guess it's a hero of comfort for them. But again, with this Kunkka, you need a teammate to play with, which he doesn't really have right here. I mean, obviously, Invoker can maybe help him with the Sunstrike or Tornado, EMP, something like that, help him. Same as Voodoo King Ultimate. But they won't really be able to 5v5 their opponents because of this Spectre right here. So they have to sort of play in 4 to make space for the Spectre. They end up picking a PA. They simply know that PA is going to have a lot of farm, and since they don't, Team Empire doesn't have that much catch, especially Kunkka, right? Kunkka needs to see you to press X on you, so he's sort of countering Kunkka also, right? By just being blurred around the map and not giving you vision. Same as Invoker needs to see you to press spells on you. This guy Hoodwink, he has to see you to press spells on you. You won't really lose, randomly get PA that's blurred. But mainly it's just because the PA can take towers and rush, which is what they lacked in this strat. Kunkka Kunkka and Spectre are usually decent versus PA. However, in this case, PA is going to have a lot of space, while Spectre won't really have it. Kunkka, as I mentioned before, would be decent versus PA simply because you are going to have a lot of, you sort of have a free lane against PA early on, but afterwards, the main part about it, why it is good for Kunkka to play against PA, is simply because of the run buff from your boat. So the thing about the the boat is that, as you can see right there, it says damage delayed 40%. You're technically taking 40% less damage for 10 seconds, and then you will take the damage. But if PA cannot really nuke the supporter, the cores, it's obviously going to have a tremendous amount of tankiness added to their team. So, Kunkka would be decent versus PA in general. So let's just look at what is sort of happening in the game. Obviously, this guy on Lina is going to have a decent game, I believe. It's simply because of the reason that he can buy a bottle and he will have a lot of mana to spam, because even if Invoker is crossbacks, you will have a lot more runes right now. So he's going to have a pretty nice lane, mid lane, and then he's going to be able to do a lot of stuff, since I said this guy X is supposed to have a decent lane versus Spectre, since Spectre doesn't really contest heroes, So because of that, they will have 2 lanes that are actually kind of free. And then, top, if PA gets off like easy, she doesn't die 15 times, it's going to be okay for her also to come back in the jungle and stuff. As you can see, they queued up the Battle Fury right here. They just want to go for a Battle Fury and try to just get some items with this guy on PA, and then they will most likely are able to put a pace on the enemies, as I said, just from the draft. If they take a Roshan, which PA obviously does kinda nice, since you have a critical blur and stuff like that, it's actually really nice, their draft composition. Another thing that we need to note in this PA pick is that sort of the dynamic in Spectre versus PA has changed since the adding of the shard. Get Fan of Knives now, so you break someone for 3 seconds and also dealing 60% of the max HP of the enemies, but the main part is the break. So you're breaking the Spectre, obviously two passive, so it's really nice. As you can see, mid lane right now it's sort of equal. However, Lina has 4 denies, Invoker has 3-3, it's 5-5. So it's obviously just getting a little bit better for Lina right now, especially since she didn't really have the bottle even. So with the bottle, this laning dynamic is going to change. PA just got a kill, which isn't really supposed to happen there, especially since she didn't go for any stats. As you can see, he's probably just going to rush the Ring of Regen so he can just not die to Kunkka, you know, the constant rest of Kunkka to not be so bothersome. Just went here and picked up the ring. So yeah, this guy wasn't supposed to die this lane most likely. So as I mentioned, just from the draft, I haven't really watched this game to be honest, but I just sort of know what happened from the draft. You know, I can just imagine what's going to happen in the game because of, you know, I expect these players to obviously be good since they're TR players right now. So yeah, as you can see, Kunkka, I mean, X is having a full free lane, more or less by 7 than the mid laner Lina. And yeah, as you can see, just you can just skip this wave every single time. Enchantress won't bother them, even though Enchantress saw the lane. She isn't able to do anything. And why is that? Because they were able to block this scam. As I said, you know, they can block this scam, they can block this scam. As you can see, this guy's smart, instantly goes here, body blocking ink, so Enchantress won't really have any play to make with the enchant. She has to like walk here or here, you know, even here to get something useful, but by then, you know, as you can see, she went base to heal, Spectre is dead. So this Spectre pick I don't really like it, as I mentioned. As you can see, this guy's 33 less hit, Spectre is 12. So almost 3 times as much. And Spectre die. And he's getting contested under tower, as you can see right here. And soon, right now, with X having a Vanguard, Spectre just 2p here, he's like 1 HP, he doesn't do anything. 300 HP, no TP, no HP, they can just dive him over and over again. X has 4-minute Vanguard. So he is going to have a great game. Because of this, he also enables mid lane. Because this guy is going to be able to rotate mid lane or even contest Spectre even more, since, you know, they won't really be able to do anything to this X. And he was a first pick X. That's my issue with their draft, mostly. Is that the enemies are doing something and you're not even responding to it. You obviously have to respond to what our opponents are picking and what they're doing. Including the picks, which is super important. They don't counter this X by anything. They don't really do anything to bother him. And they can't really do anything. And that is because of the pick. Like look at this less hits and denies. It's obviously not going great for them. Not current gold. Yeah. Highest 3 network, they are on the Team Spirit team. So yeah, Lina's having fun in the jungle, giving the lane to this guy since X doesn't need him bottom. Oh, my mouse fucked up something. Sorry about that. So yeah, this guy's going to get enabled, have a good game because Lina was, you know, just jungling right here, made some stacks for herself when it jungled. So this guy got a bit of levels mid, level 4. This guy's obviously having a free game, so he is going to have quite an early blink and then able to run at opponents. Spectre won't be able to help them at all. Yeah, you know, we have Hunt 3-minute cooldown. Obviously not great. PA, her lane is actually going pretty nice. Kunkka fucked up there. Oh, I haven't seen that. It's a heart ping. So after instantly they know that only Kunkka can play in this map. I mean, obviously Invoker also, he was trying to rotate towards top, but it's hard for them. So whenever Kunkka has cooldown on Ghost Ship, they can go in. Because Enchantress is useless in team fights. I mean, it's sort of useless. As you can see, what is this script doing? Alright, Wilding Reaper. It doesn't do anything. Enchantress is not a team fight hero like that. Until maybe, you know, you have like level 7 or whatever and deal pure damage with impetus. But even with that, it's not really that great, since you need to be able to hit people, which you won't really be doing that much. That was... the play. They're trying to bait the Dark Willow in, however, you know, Lina was in there, so they were able to get a quick kill. Next right now is like 1.4k ahead of the Spectre, obviously doing a really good job and amplifying his farm. So Spectre is just going to maybe take a quick PA kill right there. Nope. Delayed. Oh, there's just so much space just because they wanted to give it to Spectre and he didn't even get it. So it's going to have like a 9-minute blade ban, which is going to amp his farm a bit. However, he's not able to apply any pressure. Even if PA just died, he's still 300 gold above the Spectre, and he's going to have a lot of space. He can just TP me, do whatever, since Lina just can buy a Yule Scepter right now, I believe. Or am I wrong? No, he's going to buy a Yule Scepter right now, and he's going to be able to do plays on the map. Same as this X, that is just going to buy a blink, like 11-minute blink, with Vanguard, with a lot of space. As you can see, this can be taken by X, you know, can be taken by X, which is, I believe he's just going to do them right now, the stacks. So afterwards, after this, they are simply going to be a lot stronger than the opponents because of the farm that they get and the picks, obviously. So PA is just going to be jungling. He won't really participate in team fights. He's going to go for a Battle Fury. Could have gone for a Desolator, to be honest, in this game. However, I sort of agree with the Battle Fury. Sometimes farming is sort of like a guarantee that, you know, you can actually even translate to the later stages of the games. If you fuck up like 2 team fights, you can still do a lot of stuff in the late game. So he just got a blink on X and still farmed 800 gold. I like that they're not doing instantly making a play, since they're ahead, right? They don't need to force anything. So they also waited for the Lina Yule Scepter. This is why they didn't really insta make a play, because they wanted the Yule Scepter also. They wanted the other core to also be a lot stronger. Obviously, if you just have like the Void Stone and the Wind Lace, you're not as strong as when you have a Yule Scepter. So that's why they did it. Right now they're actually pushing mid tower. As you can see, PA is just farming. This is her job. It's really, really nice what they're doing. And they're still applying pressure right here. As you can see, all of the Team Empire heroes are mid. They're just trying to defend the tower. It's really, really important to try and defend towers, especially when you have a defensive hero that can really make plays on the map to give him more space. That is how you make space for a Spectre. You don't try to play aggressive when you can. You just defend your towers. Since, as you can see, if they didn't lose these 2 towers, she won't get contested farming here. So that's how you sort of make space for your position 1 that can't really do anything. Either you play super aggressive away from them, or away from them, or you just defend your towers. Because if you defend the towers, it's going to be a lot harder for the opponents to play. PA is just going to get to finish Battle Fury right now. However, they're still a lot ahead of the opponents. So yeah, they're not trying to do that much, right? They didn't try to do a lot. They just got a Kunkka kill. It was out of position there, sort of. But however, I think it's sort of a mixed play, because he wasn't really out of position. He was just trying to make space for the Spectre to farm foundations. And this is sort of, you know, just how it goes. They can't really catch more people. You know, they got a PA kill. As I mentioned, they should be just farming Asians. You're not going to do anything with Perseverance and, you know, Broadsword, since you're a PA. If she went for Desolator, as I said, it was a viable option. However, they still want the late game to be better and, you know, to have a big PA, be able to do stuff. It would have been better if you had a Desolator there. Maybe, you know, they would have killed this guy that's like 10 HP. I mean, for sure they would have. And then they could have turn. However, I still think the Battle Fury is the correct choice. Lina is going to go for a big AP, while X is going to go for a Manta. This is sort of the usual build that we see from these heroes. But the main issue that they're facing on Team Empire is doing stuff on the map. They can't really hit towers with any of their heroes. Kunkka doesn't really hit towers, right? He simply don't, because, you know, then you get chain stunned by Lina, Lion, X, Dark Willow, then you're not able to do anything. Spectre doesn't hit towers at all unless the opponents are dead, which they can't really win a team fight. It's only 5 to 6. Enchanter is the same, you're not doing anything with it, and this guy can just try to push waves, which, you know, he can't really do that well because he's getting 3 points in this. So, you know, Invoker also 1 level in Exhort, can get Force Spirit, Electricity, you know, it's okay. However, they're not doing that. They're not pushing towers. Invoker's build is Spirit Vessel, which I don't really agree with, to be honest. I mean, I saw their mid laner Depressed Kid go for this in a lot of games, but I don't think it's that good, to be honest. Unless then the opponents have heal. I mean, I think he's just buying it for the HP that he's getting. Basically because you're buying it in earn anyway, so you just sort of upgrade it so it's a lot tankier. As you can see, it's 1.7k HP. However, I would have went for Midas in this game. I mean, I think objectively everyone can see why Midas is good. Like, this doesn't matter. There are only 5 kills in the game. You have 2 earned charges, you're not getting more kills. The game is going to go late game, most likely, since PA doesn't have such a great of a game. Spectre can't really pressure anything. So the heroes that are able to do stuff don't have that great of a game, you know. Invoker with this vessel is not doing anything. Like, he actually is not doing anything. He just bought it to be a bit tanky. But you could buy like a brace or whatever, fluffy, 2 fluffy heads and a Midas, and so you also have a better late game. It's sort of the same idea as PA is going for. She can go a Desolator and actually fight with the opponent. However, you can go Battle Fury and you're going to outfarm the opponents anyway. You're going to outscale the enemy anyway. So you're just sort of going for the safer option. Because instead of failing a team fight and actually losing because you can't really farm anymore because you have a Desolator, it's going for the safer option. Same as Invoker out here in this game, but actually the opposite. Invoker is not going for the, like, I guess this could be like technically safer, to be honest, but not really, since as I mentioned before, he should be able to assess that the game is not going at a higher pace. So this is not valuable, since if you're just buying an item for the stats or whatever, the HP that you're getting from it, since there aren't any kills, as everyone can see, it's simply not that useful. So it's just staying invis somewhere. Just do the invis for like, I don't know, 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, not doing anything. That Midas is able to be pressed while this is happening, and yeah, this is really not available. Kunkka's build is going to be drums into halberd. Actually, I think this is decent. They sort of need the halberd for Lina PA that, you know, have decent physical damage. Also, status resistance is really good. But look at what they're doing. They're smoking with 4 heroes to get a Dark Willow kill. Meanwhile, PA hitting Ancients, doesn't have a care in the world. Lina's also farming a lot. They're playing in 3 different lanes, which is really good for them in this game, so they can't really get caught. This guy finishes BKB right now, most likely, yeah, okay here. He doesn't really care about the opponent. Even this play, he doesn't really care if he gets the Spectre kill or not. He just turned there to do damage so the Spectre can go to base. She doesn't need any spells, she doesn't need BKB, she doesn't need Laguna Blaze. They're still farming, sort of waiting for PA. The next power spike is going to be this PA Desolator, which they might go for a smoke, since they can take a rush quite easily with the Desolator and PA. So this game is sort of a classic game where, you know, you can't really do anything in your team and people are just buying drawing items and not assessing the game correctly. In my opinion, this is what happened for Team Empire. I'm 100% sure is this. I mean, obviously it's sort of the fault of the picks, but if this Invoker had a Midas, different items, and, you know, they probably could have done a lot more. Do you agree with me in this assessment? Still 2 charges, Spirit Vessel. They're only 7 kills, 20 minutes in for their team. So this is not a valuable pickup. Then he's going for the Yule Scepter. I actually think Yule Scepter is okay, mainly because obviously you can dispel a lot from Dark Willow, but it also hinders X's ability to play. Since if he blinks in, calls someone, then you can just Yule him, right? So Spectre doesn't kill himself or stuff like that. So you're just sort of controlling him. Also quite be decently valuable for Lina's Yule Scepter combo, and, you know, to dodge stun. Alright, they're going to get 2 kills here, most likely. But still, look at where they're getting the kills. Here, close to the 0. This is why their picks are not that great. This is the only area where they got kills. They killed Dark Willow here like 2 minutes ago, 3-4 minutes ago, whatever. But then they get 2 other kills here. This doesn't mean anything. They don't get anything out of kills from here. If they want to pressure tower, look at how much they have to go. Like, this is not good. This is like half a map, to be honest. And also, these heroes, they're getting the kills on supports. Network lead is just getting more for the rate for the dire, since they're not killing anyone. They can't even really push this wave effectively. They're up again until they just push the wave out of their tower. And I don't know if they want to farm, they have to walk to other lanes, or they have to walk to the Ancients, or, you know, top, whatever they want. Boker went up to try to set up a kill, or I don't know. But then they won't be able to get his Lina kill. It's actually impossible to get his Lina kill. I don't think they can get it. maybe with Haunt, with Manta, but yeah, they can't. It just is going to react to it. Actually going to get a counter kill most likely. Ah, evaded. Then, yeah. This is... Oh, he changed his mind, went for a BKB to be able to like fight faster. Yeah, but it's still Lina dying, but then Enchantress dying, and maybe Spectre right there. Yeah, for sure. So he changed his mind on the BKB purchase. He had the Desolator right there on the queue up, but then he went for a BKB. This is exactly why. Simply because it's the same thing. They can't really win a team fight at Team Empire, and it's just getting a faster time. If he had went for the Desolator, it could have been the same thing. However, before that they could have smoked Roshan, or even just taken Roshan. I think the play would have been exactly the same, since if they died with two supports here, PA could have just walked to Rosh with the Desolator, since they already use some spells such as Boat and whatever, so it's a lot harder for them to fight. So what can they really do realistically on Team Empire from this point to win the game? To be honest, I feel like this game is over right here. It's simply because this guy is going to get a BKB soon on X, so they don't really have any physical damage. Spectre is not that much. Spectre's main damage is because of Desolate, pure damage. But you need people to be alone to do pure damage, so they don't really have any physical damage. Invoker has a Yule Scepter defensive. Vessel doesn't really work if they have 3 BKBs, which they will do soon. This guy gets BKB in 1000. This guy had the BKB already, has Dispel on this. So it's a lot harder for them to make plays than is for the team spirit. It's higher pace draft, just better draft to be honest. They get more stuff done with the draft. They can take Roche, push towers with the PA pick. The opponents don't really have that since of their picks, so this game is sort of going to go in the same way, just to slow that sort of. As we can see by the this graph, it's 86%, 14%. I actually think this 40% is a lot higher. Yeah, I instantly went to 11% when I said that. The only play that I could realistically think for them to do is smoke Rosh and take Roshan with Desolate, because Spectre is actually a decent Rosh hero after you get a Manta, simply because you have 3 targets of pure damage hitting Rosh. So because of that, they could have tried to make that play, and that is realistically the only play that they can try to take control of this game with, since they will just not do anything without that, without Roshan. I don't think they are able to win a team fight. So they just smoke right now. I believe this is going to be the last fight that we're going to watch, since the game is sort of over. It doesn't really matter if they call GG or not, you know, it's sort of hopeless for them to play at this point. But since obviously everything can happen, I don't say to give up, but objectively looking at this game, if both teams play how they played right now, continue to play the same way, unless they like throw for some reason, which won't really happen, you know, they both smoke into each other. Decent call right there, but it was just a haunt. So yeah, before Spectre joined the team fight, 2 of his supports were dead, and then it's just going to get blown up right there almost instantly by PA. Well, you know, as you can see, PA took a lot of damage. That was just the Spectre play, man. Desolate. The dispersion. However, they were only able to get a position 5 kill for a team fight, and they're most likely going to go Rosh right now in the game. As I said, it's going to be over. So let me know what you thought about this game, guys, and if you want me to do sort of similar things for another region, I believe South America played, and yeah, I can do that next if you guys want, or you know, other type of video. Let me know in the comments below. I've been IDQ. Have a nice day.